Well, as mentioned in last week's show, we were going to interview Ferrets, and certainly my pleasure to have just off stage here in Shepparton none other than Ferrets. And let's meet the group. First it's Bill. Perhaps Bill, you might like to introduce us to the group.
Okay, well, starting from that end up there, there's Rick Brewer, the drummer. He's an original member of the band. David Springfield's another original member. And this is the Cowboy, who's a new member.
And what about you? You're one of the original ones, of course.
Oh yeah, I'm an original too.
Obviously, you're currently touring around country at the moment. How's it going?
Yeah, well, we're doing Victoria this week, and we are doing some recording next week, actually, for a new single.
Any clues? Going to give us some ideas of what we can expect on your new single?
Well, we can't say the name of it yet because we haven't quite decided which one, have we? No.
What about the current one at the moment? How's that going for you?
Well, it seems to have, people seem to know it when we play it live. It's not a hit at the moment or anything, but people seem to recognise it.
You getting much exposure at the moment?
Well, I suppose Countdown's the only main one.
Well, what about an overseas tour? Is that sort of in the foreseeable future, or...?
An overseas tour?
Yeah.
Oh, I doubt it. Not with the economic situation at the moment.
Do you get sick of travelling around all the time?
Yeah.
I mean...
You get sick of staying in the one place too.
I'm sorry?
I said you get sick of staying in the one place too.
Do you enjoy actually travelling around from centre to...
You do for a while, then you get sick of it. So you go home, and then you're home for a while, then you're bored, so you want to go again, you know?
Do you find that country people respond different, say, to capital city people like Melbourne or Sydney?
Well, not really. Like you've got, for us, the best responding place is Wollongong.
Getting back to the performance now, certainly different material to what you've been playing. Why?
Well, all completely new songs. See, the band's a lot different now to when the girls were in it, and the Cowboy's a lot heavier on the bass, heavy-handed, big, meaty.
Plumber.
Yeah, apprentice Greek plumber.
Who's writing your material at the moment? Who's writing your material at the moment?
All of us still, mainly me.
Yeah, really?
But see, the only song we played tonight at the Golden Valley
Yes, that's right.
is Don't Fall in Love. That's the only old song we played tonight. So all the rest, which is about 19 other songs, are all new ones. So it's completely different to before, a lot heavier. Not heavy metal kids like Peter Lorre, no, those American ones, you know, with the long hair and the wristbands and everything.
Well, what's the future for Ferrets, do you reckon?
Oh, very bright.
In what sense, bright?
Well,
You optimistic
There's
that
always
Ferrets are really going to be Australia's #1 band in the near future?
I think we're Australia's #1 band now, but there's like, with us around, there's always going to be something happening anyhow.
Anyway. Well, getting back to, say, Jesus Christ Superstar, I believe when you auditioned for the role, there were over at least 2,000 possibilities of people attaining the role of Judas.
No, I'll correct you there. I think it was 2,000 all up. They auditioned for the whole show. I don't know about 2,000 Judases, you know.
Were you optimistic?
Well, no, not at all. I went down basically to see if I could see who was going to be in it and see some famous people. I was a terrible groupie back in about 1971, you know. I basically on my thing I was really aiming for was a job in the chorus, you know.
How long did the production go for?
The first one went for 2.5 years, 3 years. And then there was another version, a touring version that we took to New Zealand and the capital cities, all the capital cities in Australia, and that went for another 2 years, so about 4.5 years all up.
Playing the role of Judas and being involved in the production for such a long duration, do you find it was rather demanding?
It's the hardest part was to sort of be inspired. Doesn't that drive you nuts? I think we'll have to wear.
Playing the role of Judas and also being involved in the production for such a long duration, did you find it demanding?
Well, the hardest part about it was to, you know, keep interested. And the easiest thing I find to sort of get round that is to just sort of look out in the audience and see like 2,000 people, and so they all paid $7 or $8 or whatever it was for that much worth of entertainment and go on and do it that way. And plus the fact it was a lot of fun to do. It really wasn't as demanding as it sounds.
What about being typecast? Did you have this problem?
For a while, after I left the show, it was a bit of a drag. Everyone wanted to hear Superstar again, and of course that's impossible because, I mean, when they want to hear, they don't mean they want to hear Superstar. What they mean is they want to see it, the whole thing, and that's just impossible. And it took me about 3 records to get out of that. And of course Against the Wind has got me right out of it now. There are still people suffering from that syndrome, which is very sad, but it's better to be typecast as something than not to be cast at all, you know.
Looking at the recording side, you've just signed a contract with Mercury. What does this entail?
Well, it's a worldwide thing. What it means is now there's no mucking about. There's overseas advances, and there's I'm trying to find the right word. All the records are released exactly at the same time all over the world, and there's a lot more money and a lot more push going on, which is sort of pretty handy, you know, I think.
What can we anticipate of John English of the future?
Well, more touring. I mean, I intend to play all over Australia because I've neglected that. So I'm going to concentrate on doing that this year, I think. Got a couple of albums in the I've got one album in the can now and another one that I'm going to make in July.